Welcome back to Good Morning Transfers. It's time to welcome our friends of the show, the Beautiful Game podcasters, Dej and Dot. Right, you're both Liverpool fans, so let's start with your club. That makes sense, doesn't it? And Dot, with teams around you seem to be strengthening, or certainly trying to strengthen as well. How concerning is it for you that you aren't at the moment?
Thomas, it's painful, if I'm being honest. Being a Liverpool fan at the moment hasn't been too good at the moment, because obviously the lack of transfers, the position in the table, the lack of results, the lack of, the attackers firing, the lack of the midfield that everyone's speaking about. We have to be patient. Obviously, I understand that there's obviously talks about a potential takeover. But for me, I think the most concerning and worrying thing is that there's been no clarity or granularity over the situation in regards to what's actually happening with the potential new ownership. Is it going to be a full sale of the club? Is it going to be a minority stake? So for me, I think the priority is FSG need to come out and make a statement, tell the fans what's happening going forward, because at the moment it's unacceptable in my opinion.
The midfield is, all of our viewers get in touch, Liverpool fans, saying we need to strengthen the midfield. Former Liverpool players, especially Jamie Carragher, has been quite vocal about strengthening the midfield. In Germany, it's being reported that Liverpool are the favourites to sign Jude Bellingham, but that is in the summer. Now, that's something to look forward to, but they need to strengthen it now.
I think they do, to be honest. I think when you watch the games, the midfield's extremely leggy. As we mentioned before, Thiago's in his 30s, Henderson's 32. Fabinho this season, he's been out of sorts, and Jude Bellingham in the summer, we're going to have to take that, to be honest, because there's no way of signing him in the January window, as Dortmund have said. But I think you have to play the long game sometimes. Liverpool have a lot of injuries. Luis Diaz, Jota, Firmino, there's a catalogue of injuries. So once these players all heal, I think next season Liverpool will be in a position to go again. But as Steven Gerrard said on the weekend, that he will drive to Dortmund to pick up Jude Bellingham because he's that good, and he's someone that adds immediate energy, to Liverpool's team. So I think, Bellingham will be a great signing.
If that's, let's be honest, he would be worth the wait, even if it does mean that potentially missing out on top four this year, or do you disagree with that?
I think we miss out on top four. Looking at the current table right now, I think Newcastle are better than us. Man United, they've got a resurgence under Ten Hag. Obviously, Arsenal and Man City are definitely going to take that.
You didn't want to say Manchester. You mind saying Newcastle are currently there? You didn't want to say Manchester.
Yeah, it pains me.
You worded that well.
Yeah, but I think we will miss out on top four. I think to have any sort of hope, as I said previously, I think someone needs to come in this window, whether it's someone like a Matthias Nunes from Wolves. Obviously, we know that there's interest there, but I think for Liverpool to have any hope of salvaging their season, they need to bring in a midfielder this window.
In the summer, it could look very different, because Dot was right to mention that there is potential takeover, or at least investment in the club. Everything could be very, very different. You could have a heck of a lot more cash to spend, which would at least explain the lack of activity now.
Definitely, and rival fans have called Liverpool the net spend boys, because we always take in money, then spend. But I think we need that net sort of cash to be able to spend and refresh the squad, because, as I said, I don't think it's all doom and gloom with Liverpool. When we have a fully fit squad, we can compete with the best, but it's just that players are out of form. Van Dijk's got injured, as I mentioned, Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, Firmino, Nunes has been out. So I don't think this is a sort of fair reflection on the Liverpool team as a whole. But in the summer, if we're able to sort of activate a Jude Bellingham, get a Sofiane Amrabat, sign another centre-back, then it all looks different.
It does. Right, let's move on to well, I assume you're going to talk about other clubs here. The window as a whole, you've got between now, so 6 days, and deadline day is next Tuesday. Who needs to do the most business between now and then?
I think Everton. I came on the show, I think 2 weeks ago, Tom, and I told you that I think Everton are in big trouble this season. Obviously, they were going in for Danjuma, but it seems like that deal's been hijacked by Tottenham. So, and obviously, there's talks of Anthony Gordon potentially moving to Newcastle, who I think is a fantastic talent and has a bright future. But when I think of Everton, I think of passion, heart, giving their all. And when you look at the team right now, you don't really see players dying for the shirt, running through brick walls. And for example, someone like Alex Iwobi, he's someone that the fans, they love him. Why? Because he always gives 100%. He's one of those players that will always give 100%. And I think with Everton, they need to go back to basics, make it hard to play against, and bring in an attacker and also a midfielder, in my opinion.
And you know, Marcelo Bielsa, apparently he's in talks with Everton over the job, and if you listen to esteemed journalists, he's come in and said that, listen, we need speed in this team. When you look at the centre-backs that they've got, Connor Cody, James Tarkowski, they're good, competent centre-backs, but in terms of the style of play Marcelo Bielsa want to implement, they probably don't fit in. And as Dot said, I think Everton, they definitely need to do the most business. They need to get a new manager, new centre-back, I even think a new striker as well, if I'm being honest. I know they missed out on Danny Ings, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's not been sort of reliable in terms of keeping his fitness. Neil Maupay has come in, he's been in and out. So I think they need a focal point up front because, as Dot said, you know, in history, Everton have relied on that number 9, Duncan Ferguson, Dominic Calvert-Lewin under Ancelotti. Romelu Lukaku. They've had these big, you know, tower figures. So I think Everton definitely need to do a lot of business.
So you both agree that on Everton?
Yeah.
Right, okay, fine, okay. In terms of the one single signing, which one has stood out for you so far this month?
I like Trossard. A lot of Arsenal fans were almost heartbroken and crestfallen when they missed out on Mudryk, but I think Trossard, with the Prem experience, and also he's at the right age profile where he can just come in and fit into a team. And the thing is about Trossard is that he offers them cover in every single attacking position, and I think that's why it's a fantastic signing. So I don't think he's gone in there to start, but I think he's gone in there to be that 12th, 13th player, so first off the bench. And you saw his impact against Manchester United the other day, the way he just receives the ball, turns on the half turn. So for me, that's a fantastic signing and a great bit of business from this brilliant Arsenal recruitment team.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of praise. Yeah, no Mudryk, but Trossard has come in. That's your standout so far. What about you, Dej? I'm
going to have to go for Benoit Badiashile. I think he's a top talent. At the age of 21, coming into Chelsea, where before he came into the team, there was 1 clean sheet in 13 games. We've seen over the weekend against Liverpool and the game before that against Palace, 2 clean sheets. That's no surprise for me. He's a defender that he's left-footed, which is a rare commodity in European football. Like when we speak to people in recruitment, they sort of say left-sided centre-backs, they're worth their weight in gold and they're very, very rare. And what I like about him is not just his physical attributes. He plays balls penetratively into the midfield, he takes risks on the ball, and he's an air of relaxation. You know, Koulibaly was sort of brought in as the centre-back of, you know, high esteem at Napoli for the last 4 or 5 years. Someone needs to sign him, and I've been a bit disappointed with his performances, to be honest. But Benoit Badiashile, 21 years of age, £35 million. When we talk about signings, I think about getting your bang for your buck, and I think he's going to be one of the mainstays in the next few years in the Premier League.
Okay, Dot, Dej from the Beautiful Game podcast, thank you very much indeed.